swine. And now this boy not only is ready to eat swine, he is ready to eat that which the swine did eat. And at the time he gets ready to come back home, how do I face the father I failed? How do I explain what happened to the thing, the living he worked his whole life for? He doesn't have any more life to work, April. He's old. I wasted his life with hookers and strippers, and I got nothing to show for it. Oscar, I got nothing, and he's still alive, and I got to go home to this old man broke. It's one thing to blow your own money. It's another thing to blow mine. Tip lightly when you come to my house and you blew my money. That's my money. That was my life. That was my life saver. And you wasted it on what? And worse still, he has to go home smelling like a pig. Smelling like something his daddy would not touch. Smelling like something his daddy raised him not to eat. What do you do when your shame affects the people you love? Affects the way they look at you. Affects the way they handle you at the Thanksgiving dinner. And yes, they invited you, but you know the way they look at you. And you know what they think about you. And you have shame. And the power of the prodigal son story is that while the boy is rehearsing, he's so afraid of his daddy that he's rehearsing what he's going to say to his father. That's a level of shame where you're trying to figure out, when I will say, I am no more worthy. Listen to that. I am no more worthy to be called thy son. Make me a hired servant. He's trying to get his message ready, because he is full of shame. And what blows the story wide open is, wow, he is yet a great ways off. The father sees him coming and tears off the porch like he's a young man and runs out to meet him. You know why he ran out to meet him? Because he still wanted him. In spite of the fact that he smelled like swine, in spite of the fact that he had spent his substance in riotous living, in spite of the fact that he had given his father's living to a horse, he said, you're a shameful disciple, but I still want you. You messed up, but I still want you, and I want you bad enough to put a clean robe on a dirty boy. Without a shower, without a bath. Bring him the robe and the ring, and let's celebrate him, funk and all. No shower, no bath, no cleansings, no ceremonies, no rituals, no communions, no church service, no prayer meeting. He put the robe on funk. Because he was still his son. What is Jesus trying to tell us about shame and God? That God still wants you. That he has a plan for your life. That he already knows the inconsistency of humanity. And no, I'm not making excuses for sin. And no, I'm not taking down for righteousness. And yes, holiness is still right. It's just that we are not holiness. We are human. Holiness is still right, but that don't mean I'm always right. Holiness is right, but humanity goes wrong. And some of you that's hollering holiness is right, you got some stuff too, because I grew up with you. And I know I got the receipts. You ain't so such about. Don't tell me you so such about. Just because your dress go down to the floor don't mean you can't yank it up. It don't mean, I found out a long time ago, dresses that go down go up. Y'all ain't gonna talk back to me this morning because y'all won't stand by the truth. But Jesus said, ye shall know the truth, and the truth shall set you free. Them church hats come off. Yes, they do. And prayer caps and prayer bonnets, all of that stuff comes off. Because when you strip all of that down, you're human. You have to wrestle every day between your holiness and your humanity, between your intentions and your realities. Come on, talk to me, somebody. Because this that I am preaching about today is just as real as anything you want to talk about. The inconsistencies of man. That's why marriages fail. Because you married an idea. And you went home with a man. You married a concept, but you went home with a woman. A flawed woman. A flawed man. Who don't always tell you everything they ought to tell you. Who's not always open about what they ought to be open with. Who's a mother and may really love her kids, but may not be a great mother. May only be a good mother, may be a fair mother, may be a bad mother, but a mother nonetheless. May be a great mother, not a great wife. He may be a great father, not a great husband. And all of a sudden, can you live with somebody who has disappointed you? Do you have the kind of love that runs off the porch to grab and hug a funky son with tracks in his arms or a dress around his waist? Do you have the kind of love that Jesus was talking about in the Bible? Peter was warming himself by the fire of the people he used to fight. Watch out for people who fight stuff all the time. Because when you're always preaching about something, when you're always talking about something, don't be surprised when you find them warming themselves by the fire of the very thing. Y'all ain't gonna help me preach this morning. Y'all not gonna help me preach this morning. But I'm dealing with some stuff this morning that's deep, and it may be dark, but it's true, and it's eating at us. It's eating at us. It is not what we are eating that's making us gain weight. It's what's eating at us. It's eating at our peace. It's eating at our rest. It's eating at our joy. It's eating at our marriages. It's eating at our careers and our commitments and our self-esteem. And somebody has got to preach about shame, because the suicide rates are going up while we are quiet and silent and politically correct and beating our tambourines and dancing all over the world. Our kids are blowing their brains out. And I will not keep silent. I'm tired, y'all. I'm tired of short caskets. I'm tired of 15-year-olds being killed in drive-by shootings. I'm tired of 3-year-olds getting shot through a door in our own house plan because we won't talk about life. Somebody has got to have the courage to talk about life, that it's not just a straight line and everything that just fall into place. And Peter, the great apostle of the New Testament, is warming himself by the fire of the Romans, denying Jesus. And not just saying, I'm not his disciple. He said, I don't even know him. It's a shame, but it's true. And what of Thomas? Thomas, who said, we must go and die with him. Where is he? Where is Thomas? Not in the upper room later when Jesus rose from the dead. Where is he at the cross? Because when Jesus left for Jerusalem, Thomas said, look it up, I must go and die with him. But when that dying got real, a lot of people say a lot of stuff until it gets real, for better or for worse, in sickness and in health, to richer and for poor, till you pee on yourself. When it gets worse, don't be so carried away about what people say, because Thomas, who was ready to die for him, turns up MIA at the cross. I see John, I see Mary, I see the Roman soldiers. Where is Thomas? At the cross. No wonder he doesn't show up in the upper room. Shame. No wonder he is not gathering with the rest of the disciples, because they heard him say, I will die with him. And they know he had shrank into the bushes and ran down the path and went over the hill and swam across the creek to get away from death. And what about Judas and his infamous betrayal of Jesus? I was reading a non-canonical book called The Gospel of Judas that had been discovered in the antiquities of history. And in it purports the ideology that Judas really wasn't trying to betray Jesus. He was trying to put Jesus in a situation where he would have to overthrow Rome so that the kingdom could come. And he thought that if he got Jesus in an open confrontation with Rome, that Jesus would show his power and rise to power, and he would finally take on politics and stop healing sick people. Because I'm tired of you healing sick people. That's not why I'm following you. I'm following you because I want political power. And the trick blew up in his face. And he didn't know they were going to kill him. If he knew they were going to kill him, then why did he hang himself? He hung himself because he got caught in his own web, and it cost somebody their life. And some of us have made decisions that cost other people their lives and their careers and their futures. And it's hard to live when you got the masterful plot and the plot goes wrong. Can I go deeper? I want to submit, just for your curiosity, it could be possible that had Judas not hung himself, he could have got the same. He could have come and fallen on his knees and said, forgive me. And I know you don't believe it, but I will defend it. If Jesus could be down on the cross and say, Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do, while they nailed him to the tree, then surely, Judas didn't have to spill his blood. He could have been cleansed by the blood, but he didn't do it because, see, it wasn't Judas that was bad. It was Satan that had entered Judas. For the Bible says Satan having entered into Judas, which means that Judas wasn't always filled with Satan, and Jesus knew when Satan had entered into Judas, and the Bible says so. But the problem with us is we can't tell when Satan has entered. We can't tell when our friends turn jealous. we can't tell when our wives fall out of love. We can't tell when our husbands stop caring. I'm talking about shame today. I'm talking about a guy who couldn't get rid of his shame, so he got rid of his life. I'm talking to somebody out there who has a hard time living with a dark secret in your life. And I am telling you,